Hi there, I'm Construction Gamer and this is the UK Northern Powerhouse on Transport Fever 2. This is going to be episode number 27 in the series, and in this episode I'd actually like to rebuild Huddersfield and maybe the connection to Manchester as well, just to make it a little bit more realistic and to set Huddersfield up for more services to be calling through that station in the future as we develop the network. But I was just checking out the open rail network, and I don't think the layout that I've got is that realistic, so I'm going to completely rebuild that. But before we do that, we're currently sat at Chester Station. This is another area that I've rebuilt this. I've done this off camera because I've been experimenting a bit with real layouts. I know the scale is off, but all the switches should be in sort of the right place, or the right number of switches anyway. I know there's like a bypass here which they usually stable 175s or other trains which aren't in use, and some freight as well. That's not 100% accurate, but I think the rest of the layout isn't too bad. It's not the best layout, I don't think. I think even in real life there is a bit of a capacity constraint, even though it doesn't really look that busy at the minute. And there's a couple of services coming in, but yeah, there's only there's only two signals back here and then a couple here, because basically you've got your down lines. The only difference with this, I know there is a way to split platforms, so you could actually potentially have, because in real life basically we've got this one here would be 7A and 7B, or the other way around, and then this one I think platform 1A and 1B. And what you often get is, if there's a train sat here, a train can come down this middle section and there's a switch and it can come over, but I don't think it's not long enough to allow that, even though you can potentially do it. I know Ajax Posts on his video did something similar where he put a switch in the middle of a station, but yeah, it is a bit constrained, but I think it will just about do the job. I think we've only got couple more services to put in. We've got the South Wales, so what would be the Holyhead to Cardiff service. A Merseyrail service would be calling over onto this platform anyway, which will be the third rail platform, which is, again, I forgot what the number is for that, but yeah. And what else? I'm not sure what else I would put in really. Maybe Chester, Birmingham, possibly, but again that would only call as far as Shrewsbury, I want to say, possibly. I will double check anyway. So yeah, that's just, I thought it'd just be interesting to show you, just trying to make the layouts a little bit more realistic. I've done the same as well with Warrington Bank Quay. So again, this is massively kind of crammed into the scale, but basically we've got the West Coast Main Line coming down here, and then you've got the Chester to Manchester Railway comes over the top, and then the West Coast Main Line basically is pretty much uninterrupted, comes through the centre platforms, and you've got a whole load of switches. There is another bypass line on the left here, but again there's just not enough space for all of the things. This should hopefully work relatively well. I don't think there's a massive amount more to come through here. I've put the Liverpool to Warrington Bank Quay service in, because you may as well, because that line's been in since very early on in the game, so that's in there. That calls over onto this platform here and then turns back and goes back down the Chatmoss line towards Liverpool. So again, it's a lot of these things, it's not as efficient as it could be, but working within the constraints of the game, I think it's just cool to have it semi-realistic, rather than having just basically everywhere where there's like a terminus, having diamond crossings everywhere. So actually I rebuilt Manchester Piccadilly as well, which is going to be a mess, but it's as close as I could get, because I know Manchester Piccadilly has many more platforms than that. But actually there's one thing I did want to do, which was what will eventually be the Liverpool to Nottingham service. I don't know why it's going down this centre platform, this centre track here. So it's coming from Manchester Piccadilly, and you can actually go down that track. Don't break it. Oh, it's broken. Why is it broken? It shouldn't be. Oh yeah, it can't do that. Yeah, so ignore all that. Basically it has to switch over early in order to go on these, because I've 4-tracked it now into Stockport, with 2 going off to towards Sheffield, and centre on going off. That's going to be the Crewe, Macclesfield, West Coast Main Line, and then this line is going to be the Mid Cheshire Line off towards Hertford direction, and then on to Chester. So yeah, it is quite complicated, and there are plenty of conflicts. I've had to put in 2-way signals, which I don't like using, but a lot of the track, like you can see here, is 2-way, just the way the switches are, just to make it a little bit more realistic, which leads us on to the Huddersfield corridor. Actually, just before I do that, this is episode 27, but there's been an issue with a station, I think, possibly. It was supposed to have been taken down, and then it was, and then it wasn't. I'm not sure if it's still there, but just to remove any issues potentially in the future, I've taken it off the map. So it's the UK Network Southeast map. Station has been completely removed now, just because they potentially have issues around the permissions from the original station, which is the NL, which I should still have. Do I? Yeah. So the NL passenger stations basically was the basis for the Network Southeast passenger stations, and there's a question mark over whether he has permission. So I've just, in order so there's not any potential problems in the future, I've removed that and I've updated the save on Steam. Now I'm just looking at this track here. It's going to be quite difficult to get this in, because that valley is probably perfect for getting the train up, but it wants to be more over here. Now you'll see I've demolished almost all of the money that we've got, so it's a good thing that we've got sandbox mode on. Yeah, this is going to be tricky. That's the problem with working not to scale, you see. I think this mountain wants to go. Which, yeah, it's not ideal, but I think it does. I think we can just about get away with skirting up the side of here. Yeah, it's going to want to put. Yeah, we can't even do that, can we? Yeah, it's gonna be ugly. I will off camera come back and do some work, but that wants to come in there, and then this one wants to come off. Hopefully, I mean, it does allow you to do switches on slopes now, which is a good thing, so you can get away with stuff like that. When I'm working, I always work like if I'm facing up from the left to the right, and that's the best way, because if you get that first, what could be a double slip switch in, then you're pretty much fine from there on in. So once that bit's in, we can get this bit in. Should be relatively straightforward just to chuck that in there like that. It's 57, it's not too bad I don't think for a junction. We just do have this massive hill in the way, but it might not be the end of the world actually. I think, no, we've got enough money for now. I'm not going to start messing around with that, but I wish this button was a little bit bigger, because I am going to have to do some I mean, it's not, yeah, I don't like doing this much terrain manipulation if I can, but I think needs must in this particular instance. So we've got to get this bit of track down to Manchester Victoria somehow. So yeah, we need to get rid of a lot of this hill here, just for the sake of getting the track in a more realistic setup. Just doing a little bit of terracing, because we've got to completely transform this, and we're spending huge sums of money on that, which isn't good. So come out from here, and then this. See, I would like the shape of the track to be a little bit more realistic as well. That's the thing now. Once you start something, and then you start kind of getting into a little bit more realism, then you just can't you can't stop. And I know there's electrification on there, I will remove that. Let's speed the track up a little bit, and then where's Manchester Victoria? It's over there, so right. Yeah, look away if you don't like huge gouges in terrain, because that's not pretty at all. I will make it look off camera like I'd never done it, I promise, because it's not attractive at all. But we want to pretty much I mean, even this alignment that I'm doing now isn't realistic, but it's a little bit more realistic than it currently is. So we want to come down as hard as we can, and we pretty much want a straight run into why are we in a tunnel? Have I overcooked it? I think I have. Right, let's see. Victoria's here. I don't want to get rid of that depot, but where are you going? You're going to Rochdale, so that's fine. So I don't want to do anything Victoria yet, because that does need to be relayed. But what's that say? Yeah, I think I can bring this up a little bit. So we're coming out of Victoria in a relatively straight line, something like that. Not worried about the level crossing, I'll replace all that. This is just to get the track in sort of the right direction, and then not split off, and then there's another bit like that, and then just whack that into there like that. It's straighter than it was, and then that hooks up into Manchester Piccadilly. That doesn't look, yeah, I think it will have to do. Now where's Huddersfield? Huddersfield is all the way over there. Yeah, let's point it towards Huddersfield, and yeah, there's a big gouge again. So yeah, so yeah, I should have warned, this probably might be difficult to watch if you don't like sort of overcooking it with the terrain, but sometimes I just think you need to. I think now, because we're not worrying about money anymore, because I am using the sandbox mode, I can give myself an injection of cash, which I'm going to have to do. No, not there. I think because we're not worrying about money, we can resort to things like this just to make it look a little bit more realistic. He says, yeah, so we're going to go to about there, and then we're going to come out about here. What I'm trying to do is just do a little bit of terracing, so when I come to smooth it, it'll just help it blend a little bit better. But what I'm just thinking is, I don't like having huge tunnels, but I don't mind having a couple of little tunnels here and there. So we'll put one in where that big lump is, and that way we don't have to do hideous amounts of terraforming. Even though, yeah, it is hideous, I know, but it should be worth it. He says, yeah, we're going to need a lot of money, and we're still quite far underground as well. I don't think we're going to be able to get above ground very soon. I think we'll have another, actually we'll go to about there, maybe. Just try and open it up a bit, because otherwise it's just going to look like we're in a massive crevice, which isn't good. Just try and open the land up a little bit, and then come down a little bit more. Yeah, this is ugly, I know, but hopefully the next episode, when you see it all finished, it should make sense. But we're going to do a little bit of a tunnel, and then we're sort of, I think we're on the home straight. Where's Huddersfield? It's over there. Yeah, so that tunnel's probably a little bit longer than I would have liked, but yeah, it is quite long, that, actually. Just burning through the cash now. Yeah, let's just make it a little bit shorter, like so. And that actually, other than that, which needs to be redone, but I don't think that's, yeah, it is bad, it is ugly, all just to get the alignment of the track looking a little bit more realistic. Now is this going to offer us up a really big long viaduct again? Thinking about the scale, if some of these structures would be, you know, tens of miles long in real life, so trying to just eke things out a little bit here. I mean, that's too long. Come out to about there like that. I don't know if we want to be going down so rapidly, I don't know. Right, we'll go to about there and then have a little bit of a viaduct, say about there, just to add a little bit of interest. Not sure what colour the stone would be, so if we have something like that, that's not completely unrealistic and looks quite nice. And then we'll come over to here and just blend that land in a little bit. Where is Huddersfield? Just trying to keep that in mind. Are we almost? I think actually, are we? I'm going to crow flies it just to see. So if we can hook it up to there, maybe, just see what it says. Maybe if we just actually put that in there, drag it out, and we're going to have a hideous viaduct, which is too big. Well, let's come at this again. It is definitely a good thing that we're not having to worry about money, and you get a little bit of a refund as well if you do make a bit of a mistake. Let's see if we can come down a bit more aggressively and turn in towards that track, just to try and, because actually that's going uphill. We don't need to go uphill we don't need to go uphill at all. But again, we don't want to do what we did at Victoria and overcook it. So, right, get the track in. Go in that sort of direction over to about there, going down, and then I think might be maybe possibly going down a little bit too quick. Let's like that, and then have a little bit, well, that may as well be land, a little bit of a stub like so, and this could be quite interesting. Can we come down any quicker? No, we don't want to tunnel, I don't think. Actually, I think we're almost level with that track now. Did I put in, I think I just put in a standard viaduct, didn't I? So we want something a little bit quicker than that, so we'll go something like that, I guess. Have I connected that up? I think I have. Just whack that into there like that, a little bit more smooth, and that will all look fine. Nice little viaduct there, that's quite nice. Yeah, I mean, it is coming downhill at quite a drop, but it's not the end of the world. And let's just see now what, if we come off here and then just as the crow flies, take a look at that. That's not too bad, actually. That's quite nice. I can live with that. Actually, I get the feeling it wants to be something a bit lighter in this neck of the woods for some reason. Let's commit to that. As we have not seen, we can actually build. I think there must have been an update. There's been loads of people saying they've been having performance issues. I haven't really noticed actually, but I have noticed that you can actually keep playing a little bit longer during the autosave. I don't know if there has been an update, but my autosaves still take a horrendously long time to finish, unfortunately. Okie dokie, so that's saved. I mean, we don't have to put this in because we haven't got any services from Piccadilly coming into here yet, but I will just chuck that in there to make my life a bit easier. All that just to move the track over the other side of this mountain. Yeah, that's not ideal, but it's the link up with Piccadilly, I think, more than anything that's important, because it does pretty much, you get from Victoria, it comes out straight, and from Piccadilly, and then you get that little bit of a junction in there, so that's not too bad. But what we need to do now is there anything coming into Huddersfield? There isn't, so we can demolish, don't demolish Huddersfield, just the station. Right, get this in. We need a little bit more space for this, and let's flatten that off a little bit, like so. And then for the station, I don't think. What have we got? We've got these. So let's go station building, small, blue, 160, catenary, no, standard. Something like that. Actually, I'm not sure which way it's supposed to face, but I'll put it in that way. I can always put in just some steps or something at the end. Is that going to allow us enough space? I'm not sure, but we'll soon find out. Configure platform, blue, aren't we? So actually no, we'll use those. Just want to see if that will. Yeah, that should be. Yeah, that's plenty of space for some little platforms. Actually, I think no, I've done the wrong colour. Maybe just extend it out a little bit. I only envisage that 5 or 6 car trains are going to call at most, but I'm just thinking about these bay platforms. Actually, let's put some tracks in. Yeah, so the main through platforms are going to be 5 or they're going to be 5, I think, or 6 possibly. To get rid of that, go to assets, and then we'll just chuck in. Oh, come on. Oh, right, okay, come on. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you're gonna plenty of space. I think something like that for a 4 car on these platforms. That's if they get used. I'm not entirely sure what services are going to use these bay platforms. We've got too many options now, but we will just do that. Yeah, actually, will we? Yeah, we will. Looks a bit bleak. Chuck some stuff in there like that, and that wants to be track, like so. And no, I've done it wrong. I thought I was getting the hang of this. I'm not, obviously. Okie dokie, corrected my mistake. So we're not going. Obviously, we're not going for ultra realism, but it would be nice if they were relatively close. I think I might actually just put in a little. Take that back and that. Yeah, that looks hideous. I was just thinking it'd be nice if you had like a nice curve, but I just don't think it works at all, does it? So we'll persevere with the old square station, like that maybe. And then tracks. So we've got the 2 down the middle, and then a couple of bay platforms, and then 1 round the top, like that. I think passenger buildings. Not entirely sure what sort of passenger building it's got, so chuck in something like that. Now it does have a roof, but I couldn't figure out if it's like a big roof or not, or just like a flat roof. So we'll just chuck some canopies on it, I think. Actually, get rid of that and that and that, and then platforms. We need some steps. So 1 in there, and then 2 in the middle, so we've got good passenger flow, and then we'll go back to the canopies. It just helps if you remove the canopy, just so you can actually see what's going on. So I think something a little bit like that, and then I'm going to have to put in a fake platform, and underpass would be nice. I think just a blank one, and misc. And actually, I'm going to use these. Where are the passenger buildings? The NL stairs, because you can actually put them right across, which I think looks a lot better. Oh no, we can't use them because they're higher. Damn. So we'll just have to plonk that one in the middle, and then have a trip hazard either side. Right, so that's all hooked up nicely. It's possibly in a little bit the wrong direction now. but it's not the end of the world. So track catenary, no, that goes into there something. Yeah, I'm not sure if I built the station the right way around. And then we want a little bit of a switch in there, because by the looks of it the centre platform is sort of a bi-directional platform, and then yeah, because that comes off, that allows trains to go in either direction on the centre platform. And then if you bring this out to that like that, and then can I just hook that up? No, there's a bit of road in the way. Hook that up to there, and these platforms hook into the, I think I just want to bring this, oh no, it's gonna, I want to bring it to about there. I know it's quite slow. Bring them into that like that, something a bit like that. That doesn't look too bad. So what we're going to do is put a signal ahead of that junction there. I think wants to be one way, and this is, I don't know what this would be, an up or a down. We'll call it an up. And then coming out of here we want, I think this can be a two-way, one way rather, and then this is going to have to be a two-way leading in, maybe. I'm not going to put any signals on the centre track, I don't think, because I think that'll just confuse things. I think that should be okay. It's not going to be hugely efficient, I don't think, but it should be alright. Next thing, delete all this. Yeah, did I? I don't know. I don't know if I built the station in the right direction, right orientation rather. But we'll get it all hooked back up to the street network, and that should be it finished. Can this come down? This is going to be too much slope. Oh no, it's going to let us do that. That's good. A couple of put those bus stops back. Hopefully they adopt them, which they have. Marvellous. And bit more street along there. Maybe just a tad more demolition, just to hook this all back up. I don't know why you're up in the oh yeah, you need a bridge, don't you, of some description. Oh no, never mind. That doesn't really need to be like that anymore actually, does it? Just get that in there. Straight road into there. Maybe some cross connectors, just demolish everything. Let's do that. Maybe not like that. Can we get, I don't think that's going to be high enough anymore. Can I have just a little bit lower? Well, I'll start from this side on the flat maybe, and then come down. We're going to, no, we're not going to do that. Right, okay, come up a little bit more on this side and come down on this side using the concrete bridge. Come down. Okay, maybe not. Right, up, down, down. It's about there. Bridge, is that fouling anything? No, sometimes you get the pillars in the way, but not this time. Right, chuck that into there, I guess. And are we gonna, oh, that's, yeah, it's not, it is quite steep, but I think I'm gonna live with it. And then, is that flat? Let's have a look what that's done. There's a little bit of a, oh no, that's alright actually. Makes a nice change, and then just hook that up into there like that. And then replace this bridge which I got rid of. Again, we'll use the concrete bridge, because the pillars on the stone, on the vanilla stone bridges just look horrendous. Is that in the middle of the track? No, I think a train should be able to clear that just fine. Has this changed it? No, it's fine. Why are you complaining then? Right, so now that TPE. So terminals. Maybe if we use this. So what have we got here? So Manchester Piccadilly, Manchester Victoria, Huddersfield. So you want to be on platform 5. And the same for you. You want to be Manchester Victoria, platform 5. and we'll keep the platform 2 as a spare, maybe as a turn back. If there are any turn back services that are required, we will use that, and then just do a little bit of smoothing, unpause the game, and Huddersfield's starting to come back already, which is good. What's the bus service looking like that we did have in place? The bus. Yeah, that's all. No, it's not. Oh, it's doing this silly thing. Right, terminals. Maybe if we use this, I don't know why they go round and round in circles. I don't even know where this is going. What is it? Bradford to Huddersfield, Lower Huddersfield. So I'm using it as a shuttle as well. This is Manchester Road. So we've come from Green Lane. Get rid of Manchester Road. So we come from Green Lane into Manchester Road. Manchester Road, Lower Huddersfield, get rid of Manchester Road again. I could have probably changed the terminals, but sometimes it doesn't even do. Sometimes it doesn't work and it just continues to go around in a circle like that. So Halifax, York, Manchester Road. So coming from there, add a station. Oh no, this is going to want to turn round, isn't it? So we'll have to, I could just move the bus stop, I guess. Hopefully it will adopt it. Probably confuse everything again. That's better. So we haven't got services looping back on each other. Now we do have some 170s in Trans-Pennine Express colours. It is only 2002, but they're available, so I've put them on there. Maybe not period correct, but they are a much better train, because they've got a top speed of 100, so it's just a little bit better. Maybe a bit too early, but it's not the end of the world. I just wanted a decent locomotive, decent train, multiple unit, whatever, operating those services. And I think I will soon actually start to move the time period forward, because there are loads of new mods available which just look good, and I want to start using them. Yeah, that's losing loads of money. I think everything's losing loads of money. This isn't, the way I'm running it isn't profitable, unfortunately. Like I said, when I originally mooted the idea of using no cost mod or something, is for some reason, I think other people are having better success, but for some reason using realistic service patterns, like having services which basically duplicate each other or have similar calling patterns, it just doesn't work. Because those Trans-Pennine Express services, they do call it a lot. So basically, if we've got the Manchester, or will eventually be the Manchester Airport to Darlington, they both, and the Liverpool to Darlington, both call it Victoria, Huddersfield, Leeds, York. So we've got duplication on there. I think one of the services may be operating at a profit, but the rest, and look at that, Flint to Stafford, Oxenholme eventually to Stafford, making big losses. That should be making good. Yeah, that's one of the things that annoys me, is the big swings in passenger kind of figures. You've got one train carrying 160 and then you've got one carrying 30. Because it's carrying 30 for quite a long time, it is making a big loss. So we do have quite a large number of loss-making services. The LNER Darlington to Grantham was making better profit actually, but it's not doing so much anymore. The oil route is doing a lot better because it's carrying fuel back with it, and we're carrying a lot more oil as well. But the Trans-Pennine Express Manchester Airport to Darlington service is doing better than the Liverpool to Darlington service. So it is a good thing that we used in sandbox mode, I think. Otherwise, it really would limit the what we can actually do with regards to service patterns and things like that. You'd have to sacrifice realism in order just to start making a profit, and I think I would prefer to have the routes in place rather than making a profit. I think that's more important on this build. And what we can just do on here is I'm trying to, on the builds, just add a little bit of extra detail to. I wouldn't even call it detail, but adding things like walls and things just makes things look a little bit better. So there we are, we've rebuilt Huddersfield. I promise I will make that look like it never happened off camera, make it look a lot better. This route obviously is going to be demolished because it has been replaced by this one. And yeah, we can start to get in a few more services. I think I want to build Manchester Airport actually at some point. Not sure, maybe next episode, because it really is a key part of the network. So that branch, I've already got, when I rebuilt the Stockport and Manchester corridor, I put all the branches in, so this is all ready and waiting for the extension of services. So this is going to be the Manchester Airport branch, I guess you might call it, although it does loop back. So I need to figure out where Manchester Airport should be, and then we can actually start getting these services which are currently terminating at Manchester Piccadilly can actually terminate at Manchester Airport like they would in real life. So there we are. Let's where are you off to? I'm not sure. Oh no, we're off at the wrong station. We can't jump on a train going towards Huddersfield on that line because it's not built yet. Let's just jump on board this and finish it there for today and say until next time, bye bye.